And welcome to an aderalive. Today I'm here with my dear friend Anna Mullens with Annam's Soul and the producer of the Unapologetically Her live event that just took place this year. I can't believe that. Is that true?
Yes. No, it's crazy because I'm so deep into planning already for 2019. I can't believe we even had an event this year, but that was in March on International Women's Day weekend.
Amazing. So Anna has developed a speaker training course called the Unapologetic Speaker Training Program. And I wanted to talk a little bit about what it's like to become an unapologetic speaker, because really we're trying to raise the vibe and raise the feminine voice particularly. And what does that look like in regards to becoming sort of unapologetic with what we're saying?
Yeah. That is such a great question because at the core of it, unapologetic does not mean, and I need to clarify this, being unapologetic does not mean never saying sorry for the things that you do wrong. It's about being introspective and self-reflective and being exactly who you are, not being who somebody else wants you to be. So the term unapologetic is really built on the foundation of being so wholly stripped back that we see exactly who you are at your very nature. And how it really speaks to me, I think specifically, and why that word keeps resonating with me in my heart and in my soul is my certification, as most of you out there may know, but if you don't know, my certification is with Deepak Chopra, and I'm certified in his Ayurvedic lifestyle program, which really teaches us what our doshas are, what our primary mind-body constitutions are according to nature. So being unapologetic does not necessarily have to look loud. It doesn't have to look quiet. It doesn't have to look somewhere in the middle. It has to look exactly as you are. So being a speaker, I think a lot of people assume, and especially being an unapologetic speaker, that they assume that you have to be quite loud and out there and on a stage and with a microphone, but that's just so wholly untrue to the unapologetic brand. What the brand is all about is figuring out who you are first, stripping that back, discovering what your nature is, what your constitution is, how you show up in the world, how you've been showing up in the world, and then coaching you to use those strengths to be a better communicator overall. So whether or not you end up on a stage or you end up being just a better leader or group leader or facilitator, these are all important as well. And they're important facets of learning how to properly articulate yourself and communicate to a wide variety of different audiences. So hopefully that answers your question about being unapologetic, but ultimately just being exactly who you are and owning the story.
There is just no time to be anyone else, okay?
No time. There's no time. Yeah. And you know what? You don't have time for them either, though, do you? Like when you come across somebody, in fact, I was having tea with a girlfriend yesterday, and she said, you know what's funny is now, as I've reached, my mid-30s, it's so obvious when somebody's being inauthentic.
Yeah, right. Exactly. I can almost like sniff it out or
yeah.
I'm just like, you need to do a little bit of work just so that you can really show up for, for how I believe you to be. It's like, hi, everybody. Thanks so much for showing up and sharing this conversation with us. If you have any questions, do go ahead and let us know. Okay. So what happens for people then when they dig in, get the layers sort of untangled or sort of like pushed away, and they really do get to touch into their unique voice and the realness in them. And then that's a work in progress in itself, which I know you discover in the speaker training. And then from there, it's like, what's the next step? Like, how does somebody launch themselves? I know you said it didn't need to be loud. It can be however it needs to be for them. But what is that kind of like hurdle that they need to get over?
Yeah, great question. Whenever we start on any journey, anybody who's kind of studied the sort of human arc of behavior, this is what ends up happening is we step into what we believe is our calling and we step into the work. And the moment that we do that, every single limiting belief that we have about ourselves arises like the next day. This happens very, very quickly. So as soon as we actually arrive in action, immediately what we feel is all of the self-doubt, all of the fear, all of that sometimes underlying sense of unworthiness, of really feeling like why do I have the value to be on stage? Or will I even be believed? Or who cares about my story? Does anyone care about my story? Am I important enough? All of those kind of limiting beliefs show up. So I really, as a coach, I really think it's important to tear through those limiting beliefs first. First and foremost, do that coaching, find out who we are, address those limiting beliefs, and then take that next step as you're talking about. It's like, how do we then bridge the gap? Right? So now that we have that self-confidence, we've stripped ourselves back, we've really figured out what those limiting beliefs are and how we can dissolve them moving forward, then we can be successful in whatever we choose to do and however we choose to do it. And then, given this speaker training program, you and I have talked about this a lot, is we end up, I think, when we have our calling, feeling very limited by the tools and resources. And especially somebody who is, I mean, I'm 36 now, and moving through this process of trying to figure out digital marketing and trying to figure out broadcasting and PR and press and media and publicity, and how do I get to an event? How do I advertise myself at an event? Do I send a press release? Do I contact the organizer? How do I get on a stage? And then ultimately, which is what you're so brilliant at, how do I bring my story to life on camera? How do I use these tools like video and photography and digital marketing to actually put my brand and my story out to the world? So that's the piece of this unapologetic speaker training that I think is so huge. So huge, is that we don't just strip you back from a coaching aspect and create the very best speaker that we can. We also then give you all of the tools to take that newfound confidence out into the world, whether that's a stage, whether that's a small audience, or it's just your social media marketing. You have all of the tools and strategies in place to do that. If you want to write a book, goodness, I'm getting involved with a beautiful publisher right now who owns and operates the Wow Women of Worth retreats and the books. And she publishes these beautiful books with women's stories in them every single year and creates authors. And she's going to be embedded in this program as well, helping discuss publishing. And I mean, there's so many aspects here and so many tools and resources. That's what we wanted to give you, not just a set of tools and say, this is how to be a speaker, because you can Google that, right? Like you can Google how to be a good speaker. You can buy a book, but this is really rich. This is in-depth, personal one-on-one tools and strategies to really get you out into the world as a speaker.
And I just wanted to say, obviously, there is an investment attached to that, and it's so much value because mostly we stumble along. Usually maybe we don't have the money up front, so we just kind of try and figure it out and DIY as much as we can ourselves. But there's a beautiful experience when you're supported with a group of women who are all going through the same journey as you, who are there to totally assist with all of those pieces that you might not be awesome at. And that's totally cool because you're there to share your message and your voice and feel what it feels like to receive all that support from the people who do know what they're doing and helping you along your way, right? So that's so
absolutely cool. Like that community is everything. And part of all of this that we don't talk about anymore. I mean, I used to talk about this when I was up and coming and looking for jobs when I was 18, 19, 20 and trying to get myself in front of certain people, is doing informational interviews, networking, really collaborating with people in the community. That was really the only way to do a job hunt back in my day. You know, I'm not that old, but I'm old enough to kind of have missed all of this social media generation for quite a time. And now we're finding that it's necessary again to create that network. So for example, my event, the annual event, Unapologetically Her, which is a huge event, and we are drawing some incredible speakers for 2019. I can't even tell you, but to say that they're in the Oprah circle is maybe an understatement. There's some big speakers on their way in, and I'm thrilled about it. And to have that expertise around creating your own event, which is also part of this program, is helping build and design and strategize about event planning Like that's a transferable skill you can take anywhere.
Totally.
Whether that's a corporate meeting and knowing how to structure it properly and understanding what people want to see, but being able to pick my brain on that even and get involved in that process is massive. Like, I mean, part of this program and part of your investment includes a VIP ticket to that event. So to be part of that celebrity experience as well and network and touch these people who are doing exactly what you want to be doing, writing books, speaking on stages, talking to audiences, inspiring women, that's what ultimately, if you're called to this program, that's what you're being called to, is that sense of inspiration and touching other women. That's really what I know you want to be doing because it's what I want to be doing. And being a part of that platform and being able to get your certification up on that stage is, I mean, to be honest, it's priceless. There's really no price I can even put on that. But you know what, Adara, I'm going to segue a little bit here because I just used the word price and you had talked about investment. So I think it's important that we touch on that as well. Adara and I, between us, we and the other people that are involved in this program and collaborating, when we set out to put this program together and to really figure out how we were going to price this, because frankly, we do have to price it. There's services involved in coaching and time, and I wish I could give it away for free, but it's not something we can do at this time, obviously. But what we looked at was comparable programs on the market. So what would you be getting to get, you know, a full brand story video and headshots and a stage to represent your talk, plus the coaching, plus your PR and media training, your publishing help, all of that stuff, and package it together. And when I looked at that price, I thought, you know, it feels out of range for me. It felt out of touch. It didn't align for me with the message that I wanted to send to you, which is that I do want to keep this accessible. So people like Adara and people like Christine at WOW and our PR person, Erin, and Amber Lee, who will be doing your headshots, we've really talked about how to keep those costs down and how to, if we do this as a package deal and as a program, how we can really give you everything for almost half the price of what's on the market right now, because we want your story. And your story is needed and it's necessary. And getting more women to speak up and be a part of this movement is so important to me. And I know it's important to you, Adara, as well.
Absolutely. Yeah, beautiful. We have a question here. Will the speaker training program be a group or individual format?
Oh, great question. It will be a group format, and I think that's the most rich way that we can do it. But there is included in the group, so it's 8 weeks of training. So you actually meet every week with your group, and we go through a different segment of the curriculum, which is already built out. So I'm super excited about that. And there is a private training curriculum, though, as well in there. So you each get a private coaching appointment with me so that if there's anything really, really deep that we need to dig in on, we can dig in on that together. So we can really unfold and so you'll get a full 90-minute coaching session with me plus a custom meditation as well. So that will work to sort of add that meditation routine and those affirmations into your work as a coach so that when you go on stage, you have something that comes from your heart and soul that we've worked on together that you can really use to cultivate the best possible you.
Very cool. And there's so much more. So we will definitely leave a link in all of this stuff for you to go ahead and get all those details in regards to what's all included. Now, obviously, we're at our 15-minute mark, which just goes by in a toot sweet minute.
Wow, that's me talking again. Sorry.
And I feel like I want to leave our audiences with like a little bit of goodness, like a little goodie piece. So whether it be about how to touch deeper into who they really are or into that message, what do you feel called to maybe share as a technique or something they could take home with them?
Oh, beautiful. Okay, I hadn't given this any thought in advance, but what would I like to say is let's kind of circle back to what we were talking about at the beginning, which is that this is truly all about being exactly who you are. So you don't have to look like any other speaker. You don't have to act like any other speaker. You have to be exactly who you are because that's who the world needs. And I say this often, and it's part of Deepak's program. So this is the message I want to leave you with today. It is never, ever, ever a journey of seeking your purpose or a journey of seeking to be anybody else, or even seeking to be a better version of yourself. It is a remembering, a journey of remembering who you were before the world got in the way. And that's the person that we want to see in this program, on stage, at Unapologetically Her, and just ultimately in the world at large.
Absolutely. Thank you, Anna.
You're
that
welcome.
was beautiful. Boop, boop. Okay, so that is it. That is your 1-2 for the day. And if you'd like to join Anna and I on this beautiful speaker's journey, we will definitely have the details below for that. And we wish you just a beautiful day and really tuning into you, becoming you.
Becoming you.
That's it.
Remembering you.
Remembering you.
Yes. Thank you, Adara. Love you.
Talk to you later. Cheers.
Bye.
Bye.